It's the story causing a lot of attention today. Another shocking sexual assault between from a teacher to a student. It all started yesterday when a Hamlin Middle School teacher was accused of having an improper relationship with a student. His name was 47-year-old Anthony Quintanilla. He was accused of having an improper relationship with one of his students, and authorities said he turned himself into authorities and now is behind bars in a Nueces County jail. But 3 News has confirmed the husband of President and CEO of Texas A&M University of Corpus Christi was Kelly Quintanilla. The CCISD District Police said an investigation is still ongoing, but Kelly released a statement saying, "I want to state that I had no knowledge of the allegations against Mr. Quintanilla. We lived apart for 2 years and are in the process of a divorce. I had known or suspected any wrongdoing. If I had known or suspected any wrongdoing, I would have reported to the authorities immediately. This is the only statement I will make regarding the situation. I asked for privacy for my daughter during the time." First of all, he confessed. He confessed to his crime. That's what I like about these victims. That's what I like about these victims. They did something wrong. They confessed up to the police, and then they would spend their time behind bars. I mean, in this case, he confessed to what he did. And the wife said, and the wife didn't know it. He made a confession, but when you want to make a confession, what you have to do is just like fess up to what you did, and try to figure out like what you did. I mean, remember like every step at a time. But as a matter of fact, after the statement was made, the daughter wanted privacy. Then she couldn't come on camera, but she did set a statement. So I appreciate this teacher coming forward, but will he lose his job? Well, the CCISD said the investigation is still ongoing. But she's the president and CEO of the Texas A&M University. But I would talk to her, figure out this for myself. So that's one topic off the table. But we still got like a lot more coming up. When we come back here, the latest on the Captain Cop who got drunk. Alright, we said let's go here. Next, the latest on the police captain who got drunk, who got arrested in DUI while he was suspended on pay. Also, the 4 police officers who were suspected in Sunday's shooting here in Corpus Christi. What's wrong with these people? Why can't they just be fired instead of being on administrative leave? That when we come back. Last Sunday in Corpus Christi, there was a shooting that happened out in Corpus. There was a shooting that happened. I think it was on the 13th or the 20th. Last Friday. Last Sunday, Sunday, October 13th, there was a shooting that happened. And it identified 4 police officers that were involved in this. It happened because of the death of 22-year-old Emilio Mojica. It happened Sunday when the police department was called into the 4300 block of Brentwood after receiving reports of disturbance about a male with a baseball bat. When officers made contact with a 22-year-old male who was identified as Emilio Malchican, he said he was not following the commands. Police said they tried to use the taser 4 different times during ineffective. He continued to make threats with the baseball bat, and eventually the officer was discharged his weapon and struck him. He was taken to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. The CCPD's policy, the 4 officers involved in the shooting placed on administrative leave, pending investigation. On Tuesday, they were identified. But still, according to the police, Officer Philip Peterson is the sole officer who discharges a service weapon. He has been in the force for 4 years. The 3 other officers that responded to the call were placed on paid on administrative leave, including Antonio Cantelas, who has been with the CCPD for 3 years, Officer Zachary Rogers, who's been on the force for 1 year, and Officer Jimmy Leal. You can't so that's 4 officers. Philip Peterson. That's Peterson. Cantelas, Rogers, and Leal. But the case is still under investigation, and so are those 4 cops. My question is, why can't you just fire people? Place someone on administrative leave of pay? That's not right. If you place someone on administrative leave, they're probably going to do it again. Why not just suspend them from the force for like a few days straight? That way they can just learn their lesson. Like suspension, suspend them from the force or suspend them from their job. That way they can understand. They can understand what's right and wrong. But that officer who shot him with tasers, with that taser, said, what's part of this? He shot him with a taser. He wasn't following the directions. See, when you don't follow directions, when you don't follow the police orders, you get tasered. 1 time. And then the police says, stay on the ground, I'm going to taser you again. And the officer warns the suspect. Like the case in that video from years ago where a man threatened to stick his dog on the police. After he said F you, F you, F you several times, he got tasered. No officer was ever disciplined. Look at these cases from like years ago. Like Cooper Travis New Hampshire was arrested for videotaping the police, but the chief of police apologized to him back in 2008. The officer that arrested the cameraman, who told him to leave now, he got arrested for obstructing the government. No officer was ever charged. And in the state of New Hampshire, it's illegal to film. But going back to the case here, let's go back to the case here for a second. Peterson was the sole officer who discharged a service weapon. But still, you have weapons. You can't just threaten him. You can't just beat him. This goes back to the Rodney King beatings back in 1992 or back in 1991. That story tells 1,000 words. If there was a picture of it, it can tell 1,000 words. Those 4 officers are suspended on pay. Why not just fire them? Why not just But the question is, how's law enforcement handling officer-involved shootings? How are they involved? Whether it's the FBI or Texas Rangers conducting the investigation, San Patricio County Sheriff is The truth must be found out. I mean, the FBI could be investigating this case, and then they could come to the conclusion that these officers weren't in an accident. Just take them to court. I mean, Lawrence Powell was like one of the officers who beat Rodney King. That video was a piece of evidence that could help, but the trial, but in this case here, they could have just got the 4 officers sent to court, and then the parents would have been sent to court also. But the parents involved, they could have just sued they could have just sued the police department and sent them to court, and it wouldn't just be able to help them out at all. Bottom line is, we should not be able to use our tax dollars to pay for administrative leave for all police officers. It's just wrong. If I was to do something I'm not supposed to do at my work, I want to get suspended with administrative leave. I want to be on administrative leave. I would be fired. I would lose my job and never come back. I want to be able to do this. I mean, I can just do something I'm not supposed to do, like do some sexual harassment and then be suspended with pay, but that wouldn't work. It would never work. Right. Alright, on subject education. Next, CCISD's stricter policy on the absences. How has it affected CCISD? Plus, going back to the shooting, an elementary school. How schools reacted to the shooting on Sunday night. Those stories when we come back. Today here we're focusing on officers who do something not supposed to, like shoot a person and get paid with administrative leave. Now we're focusing on the case of the 5 officers, 1 who was arrested who was on DWI charges, and 4 who were involved in a shooting on Sunday night. We're going to focus on we're going to hear from the reaction from a school in just a minute. But first, some other things we got to talk about here. Like the CCISD is having stricter attendance rules. As a non-attendance policy, it's not a lot more strict for students who miss 10 days straight. Keep in mind, 5 days is 1 week, and 10 days is like 2 weeks. But they also raised their policy on automatic withdrawal, cutting the number of consecutive days missed from 20 down to 10. That new policy means students can now miss up to 10 days in a row. Anything more than that, they run the risk of being automatically withdrawn from the school. The district spokesperson says that the policy was for 20 consecutive days missed for students under the age of 19, and now it's down to 10 days. She also said the district actively works to contact the student and student's family to get them back in school. missing so much school can slow down the academic process and can affect funding for the child's school. I agree with that. I mean, in past episodes, I've been focusing in on the people who like skip school on time. I've been focusing on Dom Tracy and Jack Doherty, who skipped school a bunch of times. The reason for this is because for YouTube. So many CCID students can be watching this video and can be doing the same thing that these two YouTubers can be doing. 3, if you count the other guy. I can't pronounce his name, but there's a third guy, but I can't pronounce his name. He skips school, does it at times, and he gets suspended. And then the principal finds out that he's recording. So he gets suspended for skipping school, and he's just doing it for fun. And then he's sitting in line with his family like, oh, I was sick. I mean, you were sick a couple days ago. Like, you want to be sick again? You can't miss so many days of school. Like I told you before, the thing's going to happen. Like, if you miss if you miss like a lot of days in school, there's going to be parent conferences. The administration's going to be there. You're going to go to truancy court. If you refuse to go to truancy court, there will be a warrant out for your arrest. I don't mean like seriously arresting the kids because they're minors. I mean the parents will be arrested. But still, I agree with what the spokesman said. What if a student were to skip school? It could affect their academic process. But you look at this topic and you think to yourself like, geez, my kid cannot be doing this. I mean, your kid makes a YouTube channel and his fans tell him to skip school and he does it, you need to be on the lookout. I didn't skip school. I stayed in school, period. I never skipped class. A lot of kids think skipping class is no big deal, but it's a very serious issue and safety. I mean, we have to use our tax dollars to hire truant officers to take these kids back to school. The school can call the truant officers, then they can just go find out where they're hiding, and then or put trackers on the kids' phones. That way the school can know where they are, and then the police can find out where they are, and they can take them back to school. You need to be in school, period. You're here to go to school, get your education, and get on with your life. But you do things that interrupt that process. Disrespecting teachers, skipping class, not listening. That's doing things that interrupt that process. I mean, not for stupid reason, like the kid that we talked about from back in 2010 who got arrested for burping. The officer said he was disrupting the class. The school and the police say it was more than that. He was disrupting the class and refused to obey the teacher. But the Albuquerque police say they only make arrests if the disruption is so bad. That's not America's Most Wanted. America's Most Wanted would be something like happening in school. I mean, there's a lot of bad things going on in schools. Sexual activity, sexual assault, sexual harassment. There's a lot of bad things going on in schools. Gang activity, drug activity, bullying in the extreme where the violence is real. Sex is happening, and then you have to make sure that those kids get pulled out. So yes, we need discipline in our schools. We need to teach kids about wrong and right. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the attendance. Because your attendance is critical to success. In my school, if you have a lot of absences, You can't be exempt for your semester test. If you want to be exempt, you gotta have. If you have an A, you gotta have like one excused absence. If you get a B, you gotta have 2 excused absences. 3. If you have a C, 3 excused absences. Unexcused absence will not allow you to be exempt for your tests. Period. I mean, you want to skip your test because you weren't exempt? Go ahead, but you're going to be in trouble with the administration. They're going to find out. The teacher takes attendance and then they realize he left because you weren't exempt. Well, they're going to find out where you are and then they're going to call your parents. And you're going to be arrested. And then what you're going to do is you're going to be arrested and charged for skipping school. Alright, next here. Alright, next. A school who react to Sunday shooting here. Who react to Sunday shooting. What the school's doing to help out the kids in the shooting. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back here. Today we're focusing on officers who are on leave from administrative pay. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I feel like we use our tax. When you suspend someone, you don't just pay them. You don't reward them money when they're still working. When you suspend someone, they go home and they think about what they've done. You don't reward them money. But I support the police officers. So I ask you guys, do you really think that we should use our tax dollars to help pay for the police officers, to help pay for all the officers who get paid with administrative leave? I don't think so. It's wrong. We shouldn't be able to do this, period, because if it were to happen, like this, then we wouldn't be able to be here. So some school administrators in Fannin Elementary School react to the Sunday night shooting. They say they have counselors on hand to help students that may have been impacted by the shooting. The principal said, "We're just extra vigilant anytime incident occurs close to our school. We have more eyes out. We have all radios in case something does come up. We want to make sure our kids are safe." Every month, but according to the FARA, they're required to have a lockdown drill every month and remain on high alert when incidents happen in the neighborhood all around campus. I agree. There should be lockdown drills every month, like once a month, like once a month, not like every month, like once a month. I agree. People don't like lockdown drills. What you have to do is you have to sit down under the corner so that they won't see you. When we do drills, we take it seriously. When drills are happening, we take them seriously. When the fire alarms go off, we take it seriously, not a joke. Someone pulls down a fire alarm as a joke, and then student pulls down a fire alarm, they catch him and is like, "Hey, why'd you pull down a fire alarm?" Because it was an April Fool's joke. You only pull down the fire alarm when there's a fire, not a joke. It was not. If it was just an April Fool's prank, then the fire department won't be laughing. I wouldn't be laughing. If I saw that happening, I would just be on high alert here. But still, I would recommend that we do these lockdown drills like every month, like once a month. You gotta have radios. To teach your kids how to do like lockdowns for all campus, we need to teach them that to hide so that they won't be able to see. That if you're in the bathroom, well, you got to stay on lockdown too, so that they won't see you. The reason for this is we have to make sure that our students are safe. So when you go to school, you're expected to be safe. So I think the conclusion to end this topic is that I think we gotta make sure all students are safe when they go to school. Period. They can get the education they deserve and get some good jobs in the future, and find a good place to raise a family and make sure to do the same things happen. Do the same things. I'll be back in a moment. Tomorrow on Give Me a Break, we're going to be talking about the superintendent of all schools. What does the superintendent do? And I'm going to tell you about why the superintendent hates me. Also, looking at a street performer at Flower Bluff who got jumped on and burned. That's all tomorrow. Give Me a Break. And that's our report for tonight. For all of us here at YouTube, have a great night. And drink some good night juice. Have a good night.